And we're live.
So everyone knows, like, there was a Jewish cemetery in St. Louis that got messed with a few days ago, where they knocked over some tombstones or gravestones or whatever, and nothing was like spray painted on there, like no messages, and it wasn't like super extensive damage. And that makes me think that it might have just been shitty kids who did it, because there was nothing like a swastika or an anarchy sign or something shitty on there. But Pence showed up so he could do the thing where they wear like blue gloves and scoop up one leaf and then go, get me back to that air conditioned vehicle or whatever it is. Like, he did that. And until now, I'd always assumed like, oh, it's kind of nice when Obama went over and did that, or when Trump's going and showing up there, when Bush went over and showed up there. And all it caused for me today was traffic, because Pence showed up. And I realized, like, oh my God, like the people who give shit to because I may have even said, gave Obama shit about not showing up at a storm down there at some point, just as another, like, just, oh, whatever, like impotent rage thing. But the more I think about it now, it's like, he doesn't need to show up there. Presidents don't need to go to storm sites and don't need to go to these places in the age of the internet. Like, you can just Skype in. Just Skype in. There was no reason for Obama to go down there in the storm. All he would do is be like, okay, I'm visiting here. And then the media goes, okay, so we're all going to glob along with him, clog up these roads, make it so it's harder for people to get where they need to go, harder for the actual cleanup crews to get shit done. Why not just give your message of keep it up, guys, via Skype? You know, like I really flipped on that, just seeing like, this is one of those things that they are 100% doing to show that they are in it, you know, like it's a political stunt. But
Bill Clinton,
and there's no reason to do
was
it.
in office for like 2 weeks, maybe less. And he went to Philadelphia, and while he was there, he stopped and got a haircut. And he deservedly got tons of shit. They're like, dude, you have a barber that comes to your bedroom, your office, doesn't matter, and they'll take care of your hair for you. Instead, oh no, you're a man of the people. You got to go shut down like 6 city blocks in Philadelphia where people are working and living and doing their thing so that you can get a haircut. You know, I think he might have gone to a black
the barber's daughter.
A haircut for show. You're
Yeah,
totally
you
right.
a haircut
on that page.
more or less for show. And he never did it again.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense when you see
Remember when he jog on into a Mickey D's and get himself a burger?
That was great. Now that I think was not for show. He's out there running, trying to lose weight.
Hungry.
He duck in, grab a cheeseburger.
That was him trying.
Peckish, boy. We're gonna have to duck on into Mickey D's.
Yeah. Oh God.
Get me through another night with that horrible bitch. You know.
Don't tell her about this.
Little MSG. Oh,
I'm not running for my health. I'm just running away.
How are we feeling about the security costs around Trump? Yeah, apparently, to keep the Trump family safe is something like 12 times more than the Obama family.
It was the travel, right?
I think it's the travel and the fact that, like, I'm guessing, this is just Woody talking, that because she's staying in New York, it's complicated to secure that compared to her being at the White House where there's infrastructure for that.
I think a lot of it's travel right now. I think because what they were calling it travel, and they were saying that Trump had spent like 12 times as much in the first month, but it's his first month. Let's see if a pattern arises here. If he's spending 12 times the norm every single month, we need to rein that in. That's pretty outrageous. Although it's just a small amount of money in the grand scheme of things. When you talk about $15 billion walls.
It seems like he could handle all of this and get people who already like him to like be raving about it. If he just went like, yeah, I realize I've been spending so much money more than, you know, President Obama before me, which is why I've decided I'm going to be footing all of this excess bill. You know, I'm going to spend up to the point that Obama spent at his 80, 90 million, whatever. And every bit past that is all on me. And so I just wanted to let the American people, or however they handled it. He won't do that, of course, but it seems like that would be a good way.
I think that's real money though.
Yeah.
Like it was one thing for him to forego the $500,000 salary. It's another thing for him to come up with $90 million in travel costs.
He could do it. He just wouldn't like it, you know. And I don't think he would buy $90 million worth of credibility with that money. And he knows that. You know, he wrote The Art of the Deal, or at least he paid someone to do so. He knows what he's doing. He knows that $90 million worth of fuel out of his pocket won't buy him $90 million worth of goodwill from the American people.
But that's why I'm saying he would do it after he got to the point that Obama did. And so by the time he got to 70 million, no. I mean, like over Obama's term. I mean, like over the term, Obama spent like $100 million or 90, whatever it was. I was saying he could say, you know, after I get to that threshold, all of it's for sale by me. And then I guarantee as soon as you started getting close to that thing, it'd be like Trump taking the train to Philadelphia, you know,
stagecoach.
He's having everybody come to him.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I can't make it to the UN this year. Maybe you guys come here. Like, sir, it's in New York.
How much is
don't know
taxi costs?
That's
pretty
going to
expensive.
Mar-a-Lago all the time, and I really feel like there's a conflict there.
To be a winter White House, that's kind of neat. Like,
is it?
You know that?
No, what is this?
I looked it up to try and understand what it was more Mar-a-Lago, and apparently like a socialite heiress kind of lady in the 20s. Maybe she was born in the 20s. I don't know when she made it, but she made it with the idea of like, this is going to be where presidents stay. Like, this is going to be the winter White House. And she died in like the 70s, and Trump bought it. And then from
became
there,
president.
and he became president. But like, obviously it's too expensive, but it is kind of neat. And it's like, oh, that lady who made it in like the 20s wanted it to be a winter White House. And now 50 years or 40 years after she's dead, it is. In a way,
I feel like he's advertising it by going there, that there's a conflict that we should be fussing about. Like,
what's the conflict though? Because he's the only one profiting.
That's the conflict.
But he's not open to any manipulation. Like if he were going to like, you know, some Mark Cuban's club and bringing a lot of people there, then Mark Cuban has has something over on him. Maybe it's his club. I agree with you. Like him.
No, he's using the office to profit. Is the problem that's what you're not supposed
now that
to
may
do.
be true, although it's hard to get around that, right? Like he's such a unique outlier of a president in that he's, you know, this billionaire real estate guy who owns or controls or has something to do with
I hear you with the hard to get around it. Like, you can find corner cases, but the fact is he's gone to his own golf course like 5 out of 6 weekends or something like that. It's not like, you know, it's a little quarter case, like oddball thing. No, he's fucking going to his resort every weekend. Like it's, if you were to say, oh yeah, you know, he owns the Trump Plaza and some ambassador from, you know, the UK stayed there one night, like shit like that's going to happen, you know?
Well, he was hosting the Japanese prime minister on one of those golfing outings. I know that was the whole deal, that Shinzo was coming. And then that's when they had that
the North Korea security breach thing.
Sure. Yeah. Which was not
I'm really surprised by the fact that he doesn't want to be in the White House, seemingly. Like, in my head, if I run for president and I get and I win, I find out that I win, my first thought is like, can I go like right now? And they're like, no, the Obamas are still there. You can't go. They haven't even moved out. It's like, I'll be real quiet. Like, I promise. I just want to look. Like, I just want to look around and like see what's going on. Like, if I was president, like, I'd want to be in the White House. That's cool. Why would you not?
I don't think it is cool. That's why I think that it's a big government office building, and he has some quarters there. And I don't think it's cool. I bet the halls are filled with people that he doesn't trust. Every office is filled with someone that he doesn't know. He cannot feel comfortable there. It's where he works. Whereas Mar-a-Lago, he owns the motherfucking place. He probably knows the bus boys, or at least he's seen them before.
I bet it's cool. I bet you that, like, when he opens the door, there's no tours going outside, like the presidential bedroom. Yeah, that's true too. I bet you that, like, the living quarters are bigger than everybody else's house. That it's magnificent, and that the president is not putting up with like untrustworthy bullshit.
And even if he was,
he's got those people. He's constant leaks are everywhere, right? It's constantly
not in his bedroom, like
not in his bedroom. But
you were saying the living quarters weren't cool, and I bet they are.
Oh, I don't think they are. I don't think they're nearly as cool as his shit.
I wonder. I don't like.
He's
his
Donald
style.
Trump. Think about what his living quarters look like.
They're shitty, man. They're all like.
Oh, come on, you've seen it. It's all gold and ridiculous and opulent over the top. It's not your cup of tea. It's Donald Trump's cup of tea. If it weren't, it wouldn't look
like a casino.
Yeah, I don't like the opulent, like as South Park would put it, Persian look with like all the like. It would be cool. It's a really cool aesthetic for a hotel. Like if I go to a hotel and it's like that, I would be like, oh, this is really neat. This is novel. This is cool. Like I don't live with marble and granite everywhere and really cool fountains and gold inlay on things. Like, but I wouldn't want to live there.
It costs $200,000 to just be a member of that fucking club, man. That's got to be a nice place. If the guy who owns it.
It cost $100,000. Trump won the presidency and he doubled the price, and there's still a waiting list. Like there's a conflict. People.
There's a
say.
businessman right there.
Well, I mean, you can make excuses for it, but it seems like a conflict.
Oh, it's not an excuse. It sounds like a great way for him to make money.
Seems like a way to make sure that fewer people try applying.
I don't know
because
where the
they're going to hear
of interest is.
You're not allowed to pimp your daughter's perfume line when you're president. You're not allowed to like pimp your own businesses. You're not supposed to be picking winners and losers.
Well, you
you're
can't
supposed
profit
to be serving the pumping.
You're not allowed to say promote Subway over Quiznos as the weight loss sandwich of America. Like that would
routinely,
be
right?
No, I was making fun of Michelle Obama for doing that.
Oh, did she do that?
Yeah,
but
big campaigns.
It feels like Trump does that all the time. He promoted J. Crew. He promoted his daughter's stuff. He promoted Carrier. He promoted Ford over Chevy, if I recall correctly. Like Trump is always picking winners and losers in businesses, and it seems like he should stay out. And I looked at the Obama quarters. I guess it's a little out of date, but it looked pretty nice. I wanted to see that.
They can't change it that much. It's the White House, you know? Like I doubt they do renovations after every time.
Yeah.
I bet they do a lot with the furniture.
Of course, all the furniture and shit and drapes and stuff. But, you know, a room's a room. This is very nice. I'm not going to say anything bad about this. All I'm going to add is that Donald Trump's like worth $4 billion, even by the most conservative estimates. And he's known to be a guy who like lives in the lap of luxury. I bet he looks at this like, this is all right. I got hotel rooms better than this.
Yeah, he probably does. And he does have hotel rooms better than that, I'm sure. Because he owns a lot of hotels, and I'm sure that some of those penthouse suites are just bananas. But just go move into the White House.
I don't like conflicts of interest. I don't like the idea of someone having something over on our president. But I honestly,
a blackmail situation.
Sure, like a blackmail situation, or if I'm trying to think what an actual if he were going. I'm trying to think of a good example of it. I just don't think what he's doing endangers the America in any way, and like makes him more susceptible to any sort of like influence or anything like that. He's not on the hook for anything.
Well, blackmail's not the only kind of conflict of interest, right? I mean, he could be conflicted, and he's like, all right, I'm going to leave the White House because I make money when I go to my personal resorts, right? I'm gonna do this week. I'm gonna meet this foreign leader instead of it like maybe Camp David, which is safe and it's cheap to secure because it's like a presidential thing. They're all set up. Everyone's been doing it. But oh no, this time we're going to Trump Tower, which is not set up for this kind of thing. The Secret Service, the American people, they have to make it set up for this kind of event. But Trump hooks up money in his own pocket by going to Trump Tower, by going to Mar-a-Lago. He could double the price of the admission. That's a conflict of interest. So blackmail, I don't know one likes being able to be blackmailed, but for him to make money by going to these things, that's a conflict. He should be acting as president, not businessman/president.
I don't have a problem with him pitching his daughter's shit either.
There's another one, right? I don't feel like he's solely devoted to the American people. He's also trying to line his daughter's pockets, line his own pockets.
But what is the conflict of interest? Like who's all right? So certainly when he says we're gonna go meet with the Japanese PM at Mar-a-Lago, he is profiting from that. So who is at conflict with that? Are the American people
the taxpayers, for example, right? It'd be cheaper and better if they met at Camp David, which is like designed for this kind of activity.
Yeah, it's made
I think Camp David is like a whole like. Oh, God,
like
I wish I could remember what
or something.
Yeah, it's horseshit itself. Like it's some sort of like I think did FDR make that shit? I remember
Area
reading this whole thing about how.
But it's secure. Presidents have been using this thing for, I'm making it up, 50 years. And when they go to Camp David, like the place is ready. When they go to Mar-a-Lago, suddenly the Secret Service has to go out there and pre-check it and block things and look at rifle scope lines of sight or whatever the hell it is they have to do to make the place ready for foreign leaders to visit. And that's why, by and large, he's 12 times more expensive to protect than Obama was.
I think it makes sense to do the stuff at his place, though. Like, especially the Japanese thing, because the Japanese guy's a golfer. They were gonna golf. And can you imagine if...
David?
Can you imagine if you were if you didn't play on your own goddamn golf course? Like, there's no way if I own my own golf course and I'm inviting the Prime Minister of Japan over to play golf with me, that we're gonna go play on somebody else's fucking links. We're going to my place. I'm gonna show you like not only what the United States is about, I'm gonna show you what Donald Trump is about. Like I like it. I like that part. Like that, and I understand that it's more expensive. But it seems like we're pinching pennies when like gallons are just oozing out everywhere when it comes to federal spending. And God, everything's so expensive. The wall that they keep talking about, this $15 billion, like that pales in comparison to a trip to Mar-a-Lago. I don't like it that he's more expensive because it's a tiny bit of it's coming out of all of our collective pockets, I suppose. I would prefer if Melania decided to live in the White House. But part of me also says, like, he won. Like, he is the president. He should be able to go to his house. He should be able to go to New York where he used to live. He should be able to go to his resort if he feels like he needs to decompress or he feels like that's the best way to host the Japanese prime minister. And they're going to be, at least on the surface, at least for appearance's sake, it's going to look like a conflict of interest every single time because you're going to be able to make that case that, hey, it'd be cheaper if you hosted, the Queen of England at Quiznos. Why are you here? Why are you there? Like, it's always gonna that question's always gonna arise. But God, he's a fucking billionaire.
His whole lost me at Quiznos, though, right?
No,
I mean, yeah, he could go to Camp David. It's for this. Like, he won. He's president.
It's like a president's retreat, right?
There's a golf course there. There's and you think it sucks? Like, I doubt.
Is it as nice as his?
I don't.
His is
know.
nicer.
You don't know.
He would though. He
Have
would
you
know.
ever golfed?
That's the thing. Never.
Yeah,
I hit a lot of balls.
I don't know what I've done that too. I don't know which golf course is better, Camp David or Mar-a-Lago. That's not the kind of thing that I want to look. We're gonna look at know it all. But I don't know. I don't think we're gonna agree. But it bothers me that he's going to his personal places, hooking himself up, doubling the prices because he's president, and pimping his daughter's thing. There's a lot of he's really profiteering off of this election he won instead of serving the people.
Or I don't know if you would say instead, though. That may not be fair. He is profiting from this perhaps while simultaneously serving the people.
I mean, I'm paying.
They're not mutually exclusive. He could be doing wonderful things behind the scenes at his golf course while running up crazy bills.
They're not mutually exclusive. You're right. I really don't like the Ivanka thing, though.
Him pimping his daughter's stuff.
The promoting her clothing line or whatever.
Exactly what he said. I know that he's tweeted something to the regard of like Nordstrom was being very unfair to her or something along those lines.
Just to pivot on that topic, every time he says something's unfair, I think you fucking childish pussy. You pussy, you fucking sissy pussy little boy crying about life being unfair. Everyone else in the country
sometimes things are unfair.
Knows things are unfair.
Yeah, because life isn't
unfair. Life isn't fair. Someone has to tell this asshole that life isn't fair. CNN's not fair. Fox News isn't fair. Nordstrom's not fair. Carrier's not fair. Chevy's not fair. Everyone's not fair to Donald Trump. Shut the fuck up. Nothing's fair, you pussy. We all just sort of plow through and achieve the most we can achieve in a world that isn't fair. Yet he goes on Twitter and cries about it. No one else talks about life being unfair as much as Donald Trump, and he's a billionaire. Trump, life's been more than fair to you.
Because all of those comments are put in the news, whereas most normal bitch moaning complainers don't get that sort of CNN highlight.
Something about unfair is particularly baby to me. And pussy. Like, I wish I had a more...
Shrink it down, right? Let's say that you said something on this podcast, and so Jackie's side business that was completely sidetracked. Now, let's say that she had a tire dealership, and now no one will buy her tires. Like, the whole world is saying no more Jackie tires, and she's over there like, I did so much research, I did the marketing and development. Like, these are my tires. I was proud of them. They were in every Nordstrom case everywhere. Everyone wanted a Jackie tire. It would seem unfair if just because of some shit you said on here, all of a sudden nobody wanted to buy her tire.
Yeah, suddenly her cake line is totally
didn't say shit that anyone can look down on. Ivanka is always the one who's like, if she says something political, it's like, oh, I want to work for women's rights. I want to work toward against human trafficking, against this, against that. It's never like, yeah, and too many Mexicans too. Like, you don't get the Ivanka, you can't say anything bad about Ivanka because she doesn't say anything.
She does it well.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Clearly a smart person.
Yeah. And gorgeous. So hot. So hot. Not as hot as Sarah XXX though. Sarah _XXX.
That's always right at the forefront of your mind.
Our sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh, Kyle's not doing this sponsorship for money.
I mean, we can get money involved if that's what it takes. But you know, I'm open to suggestions or whatever. Let's get off Trump.
Okay.
I agree with you. He's spending far too much money. He should spend less. I do like that he uses Mar-a-Lago because I bet it's better than Camp David. And I think there's a little bit of something to be said for like someone comes over to meet your world leader and he's like, this is my country. And oh, by the way, this is just where I fucking lived 2 years ago, 3 years ago. This is just mine. This is how I roll.
You know what?
It seems so. I would be impressed.
You know what else I was thinking about? Like the course thing is that Prime Minister of Japan, guaranteed he has played Camp David 5-10 times. Yeah. And I bet that a lot of them are like, to my understanding, you have a couple of courses to choose. Like, yeah, I have multiple good ones. I'm going to go to Mar-a-Lago. You're going to love it. Oh, I was getting so tired of Camp David.
If he starts meeting like Japanese leaders in Scotland, I'll be more pissed, you know, because he's got courses there.
Yeah, he's got courses over there. Now,